in a series of videos that we're going to be producing here for YouTube. The first video we talked a little bit about hypnosis, what it is, what it isn't, and basically how you can't control people, you can't make people do things against their will. That's not what it's about. And we talked about what it's useful for. And if you haven't seen that video, I suggest you go and watch it. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the theories and principles of hypnosis. And after the video today, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you a great place where you can go and get a great foundations course in hypnotherapy. And it's not going to cost you anything. It's absolutely free. So stick around at the end of the video. And if you really have an interest in learning about hypnosis, this would be a great place for you to get a good start. And it won't cost you anything. Then you can decide for yourself if it's what you want to do or not. So hypnosis basically got its start around 1770 to 1779 by a gentleman. His name was Franz Anton Mesmer, and he created what we know as mesmerism. Okay? And a lot of his critics say that he wasn't really inducing hypnosis on his subjects, more that his body language is what led them to do the things that he was suggesting. Then there was a gentleman that came around, Dr. James Braid, around 1849, and Dr. James Braid did a lot of study, and he came up, actually he's responsible for hypnosis as we know it today. The name hypnosis came from Dr. James Braid, who based it on the Greek word for sleep. Don't know why, because sleep is the furthest thing that we are away from when we're in hypnosis. Hypnosis is not sleep. You are totally conscious. You are totally awake while you're in the state of hypersuggestibility or hypnosis. Then in 1967 to 1968, Dr. Kappas did some more research and some more studies, and he found out and put in a principle called the theory of the mind. Thanks to the magic of editing, we were able to go through and change the board a little bit. So you're going to notice it changed a little bit. Dr. Kappas, in the theory of the mind, created this, he came up with the theory of the mind. And I don't know if you can see all this or not. It doesn't really make all that bit of a big difference, but the bottom line is this is your mind. This is your memory. And the theory of the mind says that we have the conscious mind, which is up here. Then you have your critical part of the mind. And then you have your modern memory, which is all part of the subconscious mind. And then you have the fight-flight. Now we're going to talk about these little areas in great detail here in just a minute, but it's important that you understand this. The critical part of the mind is both in part of the conscious and the modern memory. It's both 50-50 in that area. Things that are in your conscious mind are usually there for about an hour and a half, and then we usually purge it into the critical part of the mind when it stays there for about 24 hours. And then of course it goes down into the subconscious mind, or it vents. And that's what we do in our sleep and in our dream state, is we vent. Basically that's kind of what hypnosis is as well, is it's a way for us to escape all of the things that are bombarding our mind and our memory at all the times. So when we go to sleep, it's kind of your mind's way of shutting down and getting rest. Well, hypnosis, you're not really shutting down the mind, but it's allowing you to enter that state of escape. So that's basically the theory of the mind. And again, when I show you where to go here in just a few minutes, you're going to learn about this in great detail. But this is really good stuff, kind of important if you want to learn about hypnosis. And so I'm going to take just a minute, pause the video, erase this, and put a few other things up, and then we'll talk about how hypnosis is achieved in just a second. Okay, so now we're back, and we've changed a few things on the board. Basically, hypnosis, and when I talk about right now, I'm not talking about how we induce hypnosis. I'm talking about what hypnosis is. There are 5 key elements to hypnosis. Number 1 being an overload of message units, an overload of information into the conscious mind. We as people don't want to think and don't like to think anyway. And we're always looking for a means to get away from that. And when we allow ourselves to enter into hypnosis or go to sleep, we are basically escaping. Our mind is escaping. So what we're doing is we're going to overload with the message units of the conscious mind first. Then that, of course, disorganizes the inhibitions or the critical part of the mind which say, okay, is this good? Is this bad? Is this good? Is this bad? Like when I present the word hypnosis, well, the first thing most people think of is mind control or Satanism or something evil or something of those lines, but it's really not. It's actually a very good, helpful, useful tool. And hopefully this is going to help you to understand that. But that's the second tool, the second part, the second phase is disorganizing the critical mind. And then that triggers the fight or flight. Your mind is saying, well, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? Do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? Am I going to fight this? Am I going to let this happen? So when we overload our conscious and subconscious mind with message units and disorganization, then our conscious mind, our subconscious mind thinks, okay, am I going to let this happen or am I going to run from this? And that's why I said that first of all, your subject has to be willing to enter the hypnotic state before you can take them into that state. Because if their fight-flight part of their mind says, well, I'm going to fight this, then they're not going to go. But if the fight-flight says, okay, I'm going to escape, I'm going to run from this and just let it happen, then that's where we get the fourth one, hypersuggestibility or hypnosis, the state of hypnosis, if you will. And then finally that gives us access to the subconscious mind. So all we're doing basically is we're overloading message units to the conscious, and then we're disorganizing the critical mind, which triggers the fight flight. And then normally if you're allowing yourself, if you have decided that you're going to allow yourself to enter that state, then of course that as soon as we hit that trigger, then that hits the hypersuggestibility, or we escape, if you will, into that state of hypnosis, and then that gives us access to the subconscious mind. Now again, I want you to understand that when you're in a state of hypnosis, nobody's going to control your mind. I can't say this enough. It's not about mind control like most people think. Hypnosis, when you're in a state of hypnosis, your mind is completely wide awake, unlike unconscious sleep, which is what you do at night. Hypnosis, you're totally awake, totally aware of what's going on, and so it's not a matter of controlling somebody or letting somebody have access to control you. Rather, it's allowing access to make suggestions to the subconscious mind, positive suggestions that will allow the individual to react to those positive suggestions, and therefore improve whatever it is they're trying to do. For instance, smoking cessation or pain management or whatever it is that you're trying to access using hypnosis. My time is up right now on this quick YouTube video, and so that's one of the downfalls about YouTube is you only have a limited access, but that's okay. I told you that I was going to tell you a place where you can go to get a foundations course for free in hypnosis, and that's at the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, or HMI, and the web address is hypnosis.edu, www.hypnosis.edu. You can get a wonderful foundations course. I think it's a 14-hour course in the foundations of hypnosis. Then you can decide, it covers a ton of material, and then you can decide whether it's right for you or not. Eventually here, pretty soon, in one of my upcoming videos, I'm going to talk to you about a place where you can go to get a really learn quite a bit about hypnosis from a very intelligent individual, and that's coming up in a future video. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon.